Hello?
Hi guys. Good morning.
Morning.
How's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
All right, sorry, Zoom is a little different now. You have to use the waiting room, and so I have to keep admitting everyone as they come up. But pretty good turnout. We got 20 people. Oh, one more person waiting. Yeah, 20 people. So thank you guys for showing up. How was everyone's spring break? Did everybody have a blast this year?
Not really.
Fair. Okay. So great to see that everybody is signed on. I appreciate that. I know that you guys, or you should have gotten an email. Give me a thumbs up in your little thing if this is correct. You got an email saying there's like a new schedule for classes. Okay, so I see a few thumbs ups. This Zoom we had scheduled before for 10 a.m. So I know that some of you guys, that means that this is your class, which makes sense. But for others, you're actually in second block right now. So I don't know exactly what that means. Maybe you're missing a class, and that Zoom will get, or I don't know if you're Zooming with that class, you'll get caught up or what. But for us, I guess for the next 2 weeks, we'll plan on doing Monday, Wednesday, and then believe it or not, that's it, because then we're to the 22nd, 23rd. As you guys know, that would be your clap out day, your senior breakfast. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Again, as always, guys, I think academics takes a back seat right now, making sure that you guys are healthy, your family's safe, you guys are able to get those things you need, like food, staying sane, like maybe getting a little bit of fresh air every day while staying safe. Those things are obviously most important right now. Sorry, we got a few more people joining. This might be my biggest upperclassmen Zoom ever oh, we lost a few. We're down to 19. So some students got bored. That's okay. Back up to 20. All right, let me share my screen and I can show you guys what our agenda is for today.
You figure it out?
Okay, do you guys see the PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got 4 things that I wanted to discuss. The last one being like the main work for today. Sorry, more people joining. Okay, so for today's class, the first thing that I want to mention, this is for anyone in 1A. I realized looking back at grades that last binder check, everyone in 2A, pretty much everyone, you can go back and check, but almost everyone in 2A got their binder checked. And as you guys know, that's pretty easy points. I think it was like 45 out of 45 for everybody. But for 1A, I'm missing a lot of grades. And so I don't exactly remember what happened, if we ran out of time or what. But as you guys know, now, sorry, give me a thumbs up again. I only see Emily, Natalia, and Alex right now. Did you guys get an email? Did it say anything about grades? Like what the new policy is?
I don't really check my email, but I saw something on Edmodo.
Okay. So anyways, I don't know if I'm spoiling this or if you're supposed to know this yet, but basically the policy for grades is that whatever you do over this time, your grades can go up, but they really shouldn't be going down. And so what that means for students in 1A, if you have a 97% right now, then it really doesn't matter if you send in your binder. If you want to show me that you did all your work, that's fine. I can definitely look at it. I can put in that grade. If that 0 out of 0 is bothering you, by all means. Also, realize that the binder check goes in the classwork grade. So what that means is that regardless of how well you do on the binder, if you already have a 100% in your classwork category, there's really no big advantage of doing the binder check, especially if you're missing some stuff. But for anyone who the binder check would increase their grade, just send me an email with a bunch of photos showing me those stamps. It's basically everything from second semester. So it's starting with topic 7.1, and then we went in order 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, 6.4, and then 7.2, 7.3. Just show me those homework stamps, notes, things like that, and I can put in the full points. And I believe that will help grades. It probably shouldn't hurt anyone's grade, but again, if you are missing a few points in the classwork category, it could definitely improve your grade. Let me see. Let me go back to like the Zoom. Are there any questions about that? I think you guys can raise your hand or give me a thumbs up or something if you have a question. Okay, let's go back to our, oh, well, I don't need to show you the next one. The next thing is our next assignment is a documentary where basically we'll have two classes. Oh, I have a question from Alex. Go for it.
This is about like our IAs, like our Mr. Pugh and Mr. Sulis has already had their students go on IBIS and turn in their IAs.
Yeah.
Are we going to be doing the same thing for this class or no?
No, I did that all for you guys. I didn't realize that you guys could turn in your IAs on your own. So I spent like way too much time downloading your IAs, downloading your marked IAs, and then uploading both copies. I screwed up a couple. I submitted them in the biology category. So I'm not sure if they're here, but Emily K and Julia K, I submitted your ESSIA as a biology IA, and so that caused a ton of problems, but we're getting it fixed. Miss Meyer had to call Europe and they're deleting it, and then Miss Dion will be able to upload it. But for everyone else besides those two, everything you're supposed to do, I uploaded your IAs, and then for those two students, we just got to get it straightened out. Good question though, Alex. There's nothing you need to do with your IAs as of now. Any other questions? Okay, so the next thing is the vote from our last meeting. We talked about two documentaries that we're going to watch over the next two classes. So that would be this Wednesday and then next Monday. Cowspiracy got brought up, as well as Blue Gold. Cowspiracy talks a lot about the agriculture and meat industry, and it even gets into some pretty interesting things when you look at like NGOs whose jobs it is to like help us preserve the earth and save the earth. They talk a lot about deforestation and illegal hunting, but as you guys know, like our diets are actually a way bigger part of global environmental issues, a bigger issue than say just overhunting or deforestation. So Cowspiracy gets into that. And then Blue Gold is really interesting, and it gets into the privatization of water, the monopolization of water, the idea that water to some is treated as a universal right, but to others it's viewed as a commodity or a resource that can be privatized and sold, you know, on an exchange, on the stock market, you know, similar to oil and gold and things like that. So Blue Gold, it gets into a lot of like different countries' fights with corporations and privatization of water. I know Bolivia has like kind of a spotlight on that one. Blue Gold is available on YouTube, and Cowspiracy is available on Netflix. Basically, we'll be on our own to watch it, and then we'll come back and discuss. So let's do the following. If you want Cowspiracy, do a thumbs up. And if you want Blue Gold, do a clap. All right, sorry, some of them are disappearing, so try to put them all back up so I can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
No. Jade.
I think it's Cowspiracy.
Yes.
I think it's close, but it looks like it's like 12 for Cowspiracy and 10 for Blue Gold, I think. Thumbs up if you agree that Cowspiracy looks like the mathematical winner. Okay. All right, so Cowspiracy. Now, clap if you don't have Netflix. All right, Courtney. Let's figure out. Courtney, I can send you an email with my login, and you can just watch it on my school account. And I think that's fine. As long as there's a couple families. It's like Carly's dad and us, and so as long as we're all not watching at the same time, it should be fine. And then Courtney, you're on the honor system just to then delete that Netflix account and not take my password into college with
Okay.
you. But I trust you to do that. Okay, so Cowspiracy will be our assignment for Wednesday. And I guess let me ask you guys this. Do you want, because it's a little bit over 90 minutes, oh, Caleb is joining us. Hi, Caleb. Because it's a little bit over 90 minutes, do you guys want 2 classes to watch it and then we will discuss or recap? So we'll watch it Wednesday and next Monday and recap it next Wednesday? Or do you want 1 class to watch it, which is Wednesday, and then we'll recap it on Monday? So let's do this. Thumbs up if you think you need 2 classes to watch it. Clap if you think you just need 1 class to watch it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's so hard to count these because they keep disappearing. All right, I think it looks like 2 classes wins. So maybe I'll post a discussion piece on Monday and then we can come back the following Wednesday and have like an overall discussion. But I can put these, I can put the details on Edmodo for that. Okay, so our class this Wednesday then will be Cowspiracy. You all have Netflix, you all know how to get on that, and then I'll send Courtney an email so she can get in my Netflix account. And Courtney, don't judge me on my recent watches. Yes, it's all Office and Parks and Rec and nature shows.
Okay.
No, I'm not watching. I have not watched Tiger King yet, even though Netflix every time is like, "Are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to watch Tiger King?" Okay. Next is extra credit. I have an extra credit assignment. If those of you are interested, again, the new grading system is that no one's grade is going down, but grades can potentially go up. So thumbs up if you are interested in extra credit.
Wait, hold on. Wait. All right, there we go.
Okay. Get out a pen or paper so I can go through this on the PowerPoint, but I'll explain to you guys in the next 3 minutes what the extra credit assignment will be. Oops. All right. So here's the details for the extra credit assignment. It is due on 4/22. That is Earth Day. So that should be an easy day to remember. By the way, there is the plan for a Eco Club Earth Day Zoom celebration. So please keep your eye on Edmodo. You can follow the Earth Day Instagram or Snapchat. And actually, Jade or Emily, do you guys, do you know the handle for those that you can just mention to the group right now if you want to start following?
At I Am Ecology Club on Instagram.
Awesome. Okay. At I Am Ecology Club. So yeah, there should be an Earth Day celebration on that day as well. Be a nice way to kind of wrap up the class. For the extra credit assignment, I'm not really grading it. It's just like, did you do it and put in effort? So if you do it, if you turn it in, if it looks like you put in effort, I'll move you up 3 percentage points, which will move you up half a letter grade. So a C plus will go to a B minus will go to a B, B to B plus to A minus to A. Again, if you have a 94 or above, there's really nowhere else to go. But if you're looking for something to do, if you want to do something fun, you can absolutely turn it in. This could be a solo assignment or a partner assignment. I guess if you really want to work in groups, like 3 or 4, then I would just expect it to be pretty good. I'd expect it to be significantly better than if you just did it 1 student or 2 students. Okay, so the topic of this is climate change in K through 12 education. I'm pointing out a pretty obvious flaw in the American education system, that climate change is not something that we really teach. It's not a part of middle school or elementary school curriculum. Sometimes if a teacher is interested in it, they can just teach it. High schoolers, pretty much every high schooler in the world takes bio, chem, and physics. So we have to learn about gravity. We have to learn about the periodic table and atoms. We have to learn about the cell. Not saying that stuff's not important, but I think it's crazy that we have to learn about that stuff. And then climate change is totally optional. If you go to an international school and you have ESS, or if your school offers an elective environmental or an AP environmental, but it's much less common than those big 3 that we've always taught, biochem and physics. So here's an example of how we often access climate change. Each of the 3 decades has been successfully warmer at the Earth's surface than any preceding decade since 1850. The period from 1983 to 2012 was likely the warmest 30-year period of the last 1,400 years in the Northern Hemisphere, where such assessment is possible. Medium confidence. The global average combined land and ocean surface temperature was calculated by a linear trend to show warming of 0.65 to 1.06 Celsius over the period of 1880 to 2012, when multiple independently produced data sets existed in addition to robust multi-decadal warming. The global average temperature exhibits substantial decadal and interannual variability, blah, 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 blah. Here's the deal. We might be able to read that and understand it, but it is absolutely not interesting. You cannot show that to a 5th grader and have them understand it or care about it or think that it's cool. So it's kind of rare and far but few in between to have a kid-friendly publication about climate change, such as this book, Polar Bear, Why is Your World Melting? Does it anthropomorphize polar bears? Yes. Does it show a charismatic megafauna, even though polar bears probably aren't as endangered as some other species? Yes, it does. But the point that I'm trying to show is that, oh, I can't go backwards. That previous information on climate change was really informational, but not exciting for a kid, whereas this is going to be at least informational to those students. So, why am I stuck? Okay, here's the instructions. Use your notes, not from last week, but before the quarantine, on the carbon cycle, greenhouse gases, and climate change to make a kid-friendly publication. You want to focus on the main points. So you don't need to get into the percentage of gases in the atmosphere. You don't need to get into how greenhouse gases like catch and irradiate heat. But you just want to show that carbon is something that's in the atmosphere, gets recycled between the Earth and the atmosphere. We're putting way more carbon in the atmosphere now than we used to. And that warms the Earth, and then that causes major issues. You want to use drawings and diagrams to explain. You could do things like a comic book, an analogy, drawings, personification, a game. I've given this assignment in the past, some really good ones. A story where like carbon dioxide was sort of the main character, and carbon dioxide was kind of figuring out the world and its role in the world. I had a student made a basketball arena as like a metaphor for the earth, where the people in the stands were the greenhouse gases, and the players, like they make a basket and they're heating up, and that was like fossil fuels. But it did a good job like explaining to the students what that would be. Again, any way that you can sort of like relate it, you know, if you have a little brother or sister, you basically have like a free audience to kind of try it out and figure out how is a way to relate and teach this high level scientific thing to a younger audience. And again, I think it's not just good for you guys to then understand the simplified version, but then, you know, if it's good, I have a couple ex-students whose parents are elementary school teachers, and it's something that we could send along to them and say, hey, my student made this board game to help teach climate change. It might be really helpful for your students. Or, hey, here's this comic strip about this hero molecule and how it interacts throughout the world. So anyways, I have a rubric for this. I'm going to post this Zoom meeting to our Edmodo page, and I can post that rubric as well. So again, this will move you up half a letter grade from B- to B, B+, A-, etc. Let me get back to the main Zoom page. Are there any questions about that extra credit assignment? You can raise your hand or just chime in. Okay. Just out of curiosity, thumbs up if you think you're planning to do that assignment. Wow, that's great. Cool, I'll be excited to check those out. And then and again, as a reminder, that'll be due the 22nd, Earth Day, and it should help out grades. Okay, the last thing, let me share again.
I'm sorry, I have a quick question.
Yes, go ahead.
So did you say that you were gonna post the guidelines, like the what we have to do for this on Edmodo, or just the rubric?
Well, same thing. It's like a little instruction sheet / rubric.
Okay.
So yeah, that was, I mean, basically, I kind of gave you the gist of what you're going to do, but then like the details of like, the details are maybe less important on like how I'm going to grade it. But actually, I tell you what, let me pull it up. So if you guys have questions right now, you can jump in. Do you guys see my screen, like the Word document opening?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Am I back?
Yes.
Sorry, my Wi-Fi cut out and I had to use my hotspot.
Yeah, so here's like the assignment part of it where, you know, I'd say for the content, this is the big one of like, how do humans impact both the carbon cycle and the greenhouse effect? And then also getting into the solutions, because you know, you could write a very dystopian, scary kids book where it just ends with like, well, we're screwed. You're not going to live to see your 50th birthday. Or we could talk about like, hey, there's these two things, mitigation and adaptation, where we could actually solve these problems. And so you want to, you know, I think 1 and 2 are pretty obvious because they're straight from the notes, but 3 and 4, you just want to make sure that you kind of focus on those.
I see the PowerPoint.
What's that?
Yeah, we don't see the Word doc.
Oh, I thought, okay, sorry. Also, guys, there's some talk that Zoom is going to be banned in Chippewa Valley schools because of some like privacy and data issues. I know like New York public schools all banned Zoom. So keep your eye out for an email. We might have to switch to like Microsoft Teams or something. Okay, now do you guys see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, the content, here's the 4 things that you need. And as I was talking about, I think 3 and 4 are key to talk about, how do humans impact the carbon cycle and the greenhouse effect, but then also don't forget about those solutions. Make it, if it's a kid's book, it should, I think, end with sort of a happy ending. Making sure that it's child-centered, written for a younger audience. So like, if you're using the terms mitigation and adaptation, those should definitely be explained in a way that a younger kid could understand. And then I give a couple ideas. Once upon a time, a young child started noticing odd changes in climate. They started to investigate. So that child could start to explore around and notice that the flowers are blooming a little bit earlier, or that the butterflies are migrating a little bit earlier, and they could start to maybe investigate it. Using comparisons, CO2 as a greenhouse gas, and like using a metaphor or analogy, giving identities to the earth and those different, personifying those different aspects. So yeah, this is pretty much, I don't think the rubric is going to have anything beyond this, because this kind of just shows like what you're supposed to do. Okay, back to any questions on that? All right, and then let's get to our main assignment for today, which is, man, I'm so bad at Zoom. You'd think I'd like be quicker by now. Okay, letter to future self. Do you guys see the PowerPoint again?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, this is an ungraded assignment, so it's not going to help your grade. It's not going to hurt your grade. But I want to make sure that you guys are staying occupied. If you are looking for things to do, I want to make sure that I'm helping out there. Okay, so what you're doing is you're writing a letter to you in the future. You can mail it to me and then include another envelope with your own address and the year that you would like me to mail this back to you. You can pick any year between now and 4 years into the future. If you want a private letter to yourself, then write the letter to yourself, seal it in that second envelope, and then underneath the, like just in the bottom of that envelope, you can just write a little note, 2022 or whatever. I have Jade as my example. Dear Jade, I can't believe you're a sophomore in college already. One reminder I have for you is ... blah, 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 blah. And so obviously if you're writing about yourself as a sophomore, Jade would put her parents' address on this, and then put a note that this would get sent in 2022. And then last but not least, my address, if you want to do this assignment, is 10094 LaSalle, Huntington Woods, zip code 48070. If you can spare a second stamp, that'll save me some money, especially if like, if all 20 of you guys do that, that'll be like $10 in stamps for me, which is not the end of the world. I'm happy to do it. But if you do have an extra stamp, obviously you need one stamp to mail it to me, and then a second stamp on that second envelope with your address, and in the bottom corner of that envelope, a note that says 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. And then I will try my best to stay organized. I'll mail it back to you. And it's something I think it would be interesting, especially because we're in the middle of a pandemic, to talk about what life is like, what was life like for that last year of high school, obviously thinking back to some better times like first semester and Winter Olympics and a month ago. But then also talking about what life is like now, not leaving the house and having one person in your family go to get groceries one time a week, and not interacting with your friends and not having the end of high school and being bummed about that, rightfully so. But again, I've done this with students in the past, and for the most part, they've all like forgotten about this. And so it's kind of interesting when they get that letter, and it's something that they really forgot about till they get it. And then they get to kind of look back at what they were thinking about at that time. So are there any, well, I'll leave this up so you can write down the address. Are there any questions? You don't need to raise your hand, just chime in about this assignment.
How would we send the other like envelope? Like, would it be like with the like? I'm kind of confused because I don't really like send things out like as letters.
So if you want it private, you would write a letter to yourself, put your address on it, put the stamp on it, put the year on it, and then you would put that inside of another envelope. It should be able to fit. The bigger and the outside envelope, it might not fold over all the way because it'll be kind of like stretched. So just put a piece of tape and then that'll keep it shut. And then that way I'll get the outside envelope, I'll open that up, and then I'll see an envelope on the inside that has your address, a year, and then I'll put that aside, I'll set a reminder, and then I'll mail that to you next spring. I'll plan on doing this like in the spring. So it'll be spring of next year, spring of the following year, spring of the third year, etc.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, any other questions? All right. Any questions, not just on this assignment, but anything about the email you guys got from like the administration about the change in schedule, the change in grades?
I have a question.
Yep.
So, you said earlier that like grades can only go up from now on. Like, there's no way that grades can go down. But this morning, so this is for Spanish. Mr. Watkins, like this was like last week. He gave us an assignment that was called final assignment. So like I expected that to be the last assignment, and he said it would be. But now that there was this change, like he said this, like it says like it was posted 13 hours ago. So that would be like last night he posted like a thing that said we're gonna like have assignments like every morning or like on A days. And like there was an assignment that I missed today that was due at 10 a.m. And it says here, submit before 10. If you don't finish, submit what you have. Late assignments will receive a deduction below the class mean. So I'm worried for my grade because like I actually texted like a group chat, and I know that there was a lot of other people who also didn't like know that this was happening because like he like you know you would expect like a teacher that gave a final assignment to not give anymore.
Yep.
So I'm concerned, and I don't know if like he actually has that power to like you know deduct the grades.
Yeah. Well, did you guys get the email about grades yet?
No.
Okay. So I might be speaking out of line. This is based on, we had like school improvement meetings last week to talk about the schedule and the grades and the new policies going forward. So because that's not official yet, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Mr. Watkins is right in that grades are going forward. Or once that policy is official, then maybe he might not be able to put in zeros. So again, I'm not as concerned about grades right now. I'm more concerned about keeping you guys like active in terms of your brains, like just that you're reading and writing and like just doing some things. But yeah, maybe because that policy has not been like finalized yet, maybe there are some exceptions, like maybe for seniors, your grades will still count because you only have 2 weeks left. Or maybe Mr. Watkins doesn't know the new rule. And so I would say once that email comes out and you guys get an update about grades, then your classes should reflect that. And if not, I would just maybe, approach him or send him an email about that. But again, I guess the grade stuff is not official yet, so we don't really know. That's just what we heard last week based on those meetings. Other questions? Yes.
Why are you wearing a hat indoors?
I'm wearing a hat indoors because I haven't had a haircut in a month. So here you go. This is this is me without a hat. Speaking of indoors, do you guys want to see my my indoor garden that I've started?
Yes.
Yes.
How do I turn off my grass background? Oh, I see it. Choose virtual background. None. Okay. Sorry, I gotta put this hat back on. It looks ridiculous. Oh, hold on. Before, I'm guessing there's some people that absolutely do not care about my indoor growing area. So is there any questions going back to what we did today? Students from 1A, most of you are missing your binder check. It will not hurt you if you don't send it in. But if you think it'll improve your grade, remember it goes in the classwork aspect. Send me pictures and I'll give you credit on that. Number 2, we voted on Cowspiracy. So Wednesday's class, we will start, you guys will be on your own for this. You'll watch Cowspiracy and then we will check it in. We'll have a online conversation on Monday when you guys finish it, and then we can have a conversation in person or over Zoom on Wednesday. Extra credit assignment, climate change, kids publication, kids book, kids poem, kids board game, video, whatever. A video would be pretty cool, especially since we're learning how to do all this digital learning type stuff. I will post the details to that on Edmodo. And then last but not least, oh, looks like we have chat. Is it anything important? Are the previous excluded assignments going to count now in other classes from Kayla? Kayla, can you tell me what you mean by excluded assignments?
Like for the other classes, they've been putting in our classwork, but it's all been excluded.
Oh,
so
right.
if our grades are gonna move now, are all of those gonna be counted now, or are they gonna remain excluded?
Good question. Sorry, I'm trying to admit Yusuf. Hi, Yusuf. So as far as I know, and again, it's not official yet because I know that like our plan had to get sent to the MISD and they could tell us like yes or no. You know, they could reject our plan, I guess. Is from what I know from our last meeting, grades won't go down, they'll only go up. So if you had if your previous assignments, you were getting 10 out of 10, those would go in. And if it helped your grade, great. But if your excluded assignment, if you got a 6 out of 10 and it brought your grade down, or a 0 out of 10, my understanding is that it would not count. But again, it sounds like maybe not every teacher is following that. So I don't know, maybe that's like our suggestion, but teachers are allowed to kind of do what they want. But I guess I don't totally know until you get that email that says, dear students, here's our new official grading for online learning. So yeah, sorry, Kayla, I wish I had a better answer for that. Hopefully in the next day or two, you guys will get that email that says, here's the update on grades. Okay, and then obviously the last thing, letter to future self, that's like our main assignment for today. I think it would be interesting if you guys are willing to sacrifice 2 stamps and I don't know, maybe 30 minutes to write yourself a letter, and then it'll be a nice surprise 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years from now. Any other questions? And again, those of you that came on late, I'm recording this, I'll post to Edmodo. Before we check out the indoor garden, any other questions, comments, concerns?
So just to clarify, there's no Zoom meeting next class?
No Zoom meeting next class, because next class, your assignment is watch Cowspiracy. And then the following Monday, I'll post on Edmodo any updates, that digital platform to discuss Cowspiracy. And then also you could be working on the extra credit assignment, the kids book, the kids video, the kids book, the kids board game, whatever it is. Anything else? Okay, you guys ready? So, over here was my workbench, but now it is my indoor growing area. I have, you see this red lettuce right here? Wait, this is called Joker lettuce. This is like the best tasting lettuce in Michigan. They sell it in Ann Arbor. There's a really cool seed store called Nature and Nurture, or Nurture and Nature. I bought them a couple years ago, but the seeds actually stay viable for a few years. Can you guys tell what this is?
Basil.
Not basil. Look at the jagged leaves.
Arugula.
Kale.
Kale. Oh.
Back here we have some crust, and then underneath the greenhouse are the stuff that this is like. So over here is the spring stuff. This is gonna go outside in a few days. Over here is the summer stuff. Cucumber. Obviously, this is the very beginning of cucumber, and then tomato back here. Again, the very beginning of tomatoes. Yeah, that's it. I got my lights on a timer, so the plants know their photo period. They're getting about 14 hours of sunlight. That's it. That's what we've been doing over here. I got Elliot, who's my garden helper. I made a big mistake. I taught her how to pull weeds the other day, but now she doesn't know the difference between like a vegetable and a weed, which is very disappointing. At age 2.5, you'd think she would know the difference, but so now she's pulling out veggies out of the garden, but I have to try to figure out how to teach her the differences. Anyone else getting into the garden over there? Any planting or weeding or anything happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, garden game. I got flowers in like little Dixie cups because I couldn't go to the garden store and get like a little pot to put them in, so I just used Dixie cups, and they just sprouted yesterday.
Awesome. One, so it's kind of weird with the new executive order, like what types of stores are closed. Garden centers are closed. Like the garden area of like Home Depot or Lowe's is closed, but they usually have seeds up front. I'm not telling you guys to go out just to get seeds. I think that would be like a risk. But if say a parent is going to a hardware store because you guys need to get something for the house, grab some seeds because now's a good time. The spring stuff can get thrown outside like today. So you could get peas and put them in the ground right now. You could get any lettuce or greens or broccoli, put them in the ground right now. And then the summer stuff, cucumber, basil, tomatoes, you can do what Abby did and just start that like in a Dixie cup inside. The only reason I have lights is because I'm in the basement, but you can just put it next to a south-facing window. Again, growing your own crops might not seem like the most exciting thing in the world, but when we're stuck inside and there's nothing else to do, growing your own flowers, growing your own veggies is not a bad idea. What else? What else are people doing besides going online, watching TV, school, anything exciting happening from the confines of your own homes?
I'm not really doing anything exciting, but I've almost finished a latch hook rug while we've been up here. A latch hook rug.
Oh, that's cool. Is that, do you like have to follow a pattern on that?
Yeah, it's
you repeat it over and over?
Yeah, it's an owl.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. That'd be really cool. Any other skills? Anyone teaching themselves a new instrument or a new anything?
I'm becoming a movie critic.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I can like, what's it called? I can vouch for that because she's been giving me like critiques of like movies that we've been watching together. She's really good.
Jade, what's the best movie you've seen recently?
I'm a harsh critic, so let me think. Probably A Silent Voice.
Silent Voice. Okay,
That's a
don't
good
know that
one.
one, so maybe I'll check it out. What else? Oh, I see it on the bottom. Nini's learning piano. Awesome. Kayla is learning Italian. That is incredibly impressive. And also, guys, learning a language, it's actually like, all you need there is an online source. And actually, Kayla, can you jump in? How are you learning Italian? What's your plan?
Well, my mom knows some Italian, so she
Okay.
started teaching me some phrases.
Cool.
And then I started using Duolingo, even though
Okay.
it's not like the best site to learn it because it doesn't teach you like or anything like that. It just teaches phrases. So I know phrases now.
Right.
I need to find a site that's going to teach me how to conjugate.
Cool. I think I'm sure the language teachers would be very offended by me saying this, but when I travel, I basically learn the key phrases. I learn, I don't know how to conjugate. I don't know past tense and preterite tense, but it's enough to get around. It's enough to show the locals that you are attempting to learn their language. So, Kayla, like you could even think about something like a college graduation gift to yourself is saving up for that flight to Italy. And then just keeping on those key phrases and learning those words, it would be a pretty cool thing. What is CS from Yusuf?
Computer science.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So Yusuf, is that like coding? Okay, great. Thank you, Yusuf. Oh, he did say computer science, exactly, coding. And then Alex, sketching out a painting on canvas. What's your painting that you're working on?
I want to do a piece that is like, I kind of want to base it off of like desires and stuff like that.
Interesting. Are you doing, when you sketch it out, do you use like the grid system or are you just sketching freehand?
Most of it's going to be freehand since I'm absolute garbage at doing people. I'm going to do the grid method for that part. But
all right, very cool. Caleb, what is Python?
It's a programming language.
Yeah, it's a programming language.
How is it different than how is Python different from other programming languages?
It doesn't have a lot of so like in a lot of them you'll have to like add like curly brackets everywhere and like semicolons. You don't. It's used a lot for like data science kind of stuff.
Okay.
Because the emphasis isn't on the memory management or the management of the computer hardware resources.
Okay.
But more on what you're doing. Just kind of some stuff.
Sounded smart. I understood most of that. Awesome. And teaching yourself guitar. Very, very impressive. All right, I still need to hear from Selma and Noor and Carly and Amal and Nina and Malika. What are some things you guys are doing? You can type them if you want, or you can shout them out.
I mean, I've just been reading a lot of books, actually. So it's kind of like something new that I've been doing since I usually don't read a lot. But now, since like with all this free time, yeah, I've just been reading a lot.
Are you reading fiction or nonfiction?
Both, but mostly like new, magazine articles and like just fiction too. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. One thing I've done with reading, and I might have mentioned this last time, but I started subscribing to the New York Times Daily Briefing. And so a lot of times with like Twitter and Reddit and like social media, like it's hard to kind of figure out the clickbait headlines from the real headlines to good journalism. And so with New York Times Daily Briefing, they just send you one email a day with like the headlines and the links to all of like the major stories of the day. And I've just found it, first of all, it's better for my mental health that like at 10 o'clock at night, I'm not on Twitter looking at the pandemic curve and the fight between Trump and the governors and things that's going to just like make me anxious. And so it's kind of nice. I just like start my day and I look up, just that one email from the New York Times. And it's kind of nice to follow. All right, I'm getting some more Malika puzzles. Malika, how many pieces for your hardest puzzle?
It's 1,000 pieces.
1,000.
Yeah.
I have I do a puzzle with Elliot that's 4, and so it's on 4 corners. And then we have another one that's 6, and so it's like 4 corners plus 2 others. So I'm not quite at the level that you are at. Very impressive. Malika, what's the picture on the 1,000 one?
It's like this town on Halloween. So it's really pretty. It has this like forest scenery for like half of it.
Okay.
But it's really hard because all the tree leaves like just combine together. So it's hard, but
yeah, I'm not good at puzzles. I find them frustrating. I did see online that on Reddit or something that someone just finished 1,000-piece all black puzzle.
oh my god.
So it's literally
That's
not a
crazy.
single color and anything. It's all black, 1,000 pieces, and they finished it. I have no idea how you could even do that. Yusuf, are you saying you're learning facts, or are you just saying facts about something else? Selma, training dogs to be able to do things like opening and closing doors. That's awesome. Have you gotten them to bring you stuff like from the refrigerator, Selma? You said something true. I wanted. Oh, okay. Thank you, Yusuf. And then what about Carly and Amal? One new thing that you've been doing, working on something else.
So basically my parents have been cooking a lot more like Pakistani dishes because there's more time because they're home. So they have more time for prep work. So I've been just kind of helping and like learning as I go because I don't really know how to cook anything like that's Pakistani. So that way like, I know how to do it for myself and I don't lose that part of my culture.
So like different cuisines have different like very common ingredients. Like, with Italian, you almost always start with like olive oil, garlic, and then you end with like oregano or thyme. With Mexican, there's certain things like cayenne pepper. Is there like, do Pakistani dishes have like certain things in common that they pretty much all
for
use?
sure. So like if it's like a curry based dish, so like if there's yogurt, like turmeric, cumin, you have like chili powder, garlic, ginger, onion. Those things are always in there. So then like depending on like how wet the curry is and you put more yogurt and water, then it's like more dry, then you just kind of like put it in the masala itself. You don't really put that much liquid in it. So
what do you make your masala?
My mom makes some, but some things that she gets from Pakistan, like my grandma when she visits, she brings from Pakistan herself that she makes. So like a lot of it is like roasted by herself and like grinded up.
So what's like the main ingredients to make the masala?
It's like a bunch of stuff. I'm not sure exactly, but I know like you'll find like there's like fennel seeds, like she roasts them, put them in, like you have a lot of ground up like garlic, like the whole cloves and cinnamon and stuff. That's also in there,
Cool. That's awesome. I didn't know ginger was a common component in that, but I guess that makes sense. What for the curries, is it like a green curry, a red curry, a yellow curry, or do you make everything?
It's like everything. Like green curry, it's just like a cilantro and chili base, but like red curry has like tomato in it, and then so
that's awesome. Cooking is definitely something I think, first of all, a great life skill, just because most college kids, they get to college and they can only heat up Easy Mac and make themselves cereal and maybe a grilled cheese sandwich. So if you guys can spend this time to watch your parents cook, learn how to make like easy stuff, it'll definitely save you money and time and make your college experience much easier. I ate like garbage my first few years of college. I didn't learn how to cook until actually a roommate in my first job out of college. She taught me like almost everything I knew about cooking. Carly, yeah.
I bought a PS4 a couple weeks ago, so I've kind of just been playing games.
What games are you playing?
Well, I like kind of like the story kind of games. So
Okay.
I played this one called Detroit Become Human. It's about like androids and like humans living together. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's very cool. I've been telling my wife I want to get a PS4. I think that it helped with like little kids. When I was a kid, the story was that like video games are terrible for you. They like rot your brain and they turn you like into an but like there's more research now, especially for like younger kids, that like video games can help them like learn, and it can help like fine motor skills and things like that. Cool.
Yeah.
I think it's actually a nice like I don't know, nice distraction away from current issues and the fact that we're in a quarantine. That's pretty cool. Did we hear from Malika?
Yes.
Okay. What of Abby, besides putting flowers in cups, anything else? Nini, besides piano, anything else?
I said I'm also kind of gardening too.
Oh, nice. Indoor or outdoor?
Indoor, but I'm gonna
Okay.
move it outdoors.
Nice. Courtney, what about you? Besides not watching Netflix?
I still go for runs and stuff.
Nice. That's awesome. Are you, when you go out, is it crowd, like, do you have to worry about other people, or do you, like, is it pretty empty?
Well, it's actually more full than it's like ever been, because usually when I go running, there's literally no one out ever.
Yeah.
But now there's like, I think just because we're in quarantine, people kind of
Yeah.
want to get out. So I see people like walking dogs and like just taking walks in general. I just like run across the street though.
Yeah, the four of us go for a lot of walks, and we always go for walks. And because of the quarantine, you're right, especially on like a nice day, it's like actually like crowded in the suburbs, which seems like kind of crazy. It reminds me of Chicago a little bit. What's Caleb showing us? Some chords?
Okay, no, I just found this thing, this app that lets you use your phone camera as the Zoom input for, like, Zoom is running on my computer, but I'm using my phone camera as the video input.
That's pretty cool.
Wait.
Yeah, thank you to whatever news article thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You want to share that?
Sure.
And again, I don't know what the update with Zoom is going to be, but it was like Chippewa sent to their teachers that they're not supposed to use Zoom anymore. And apparently it is, we got a new, I'm muted. Bless you. And so I don't know how it's going to affect us. If we're just going to kind of ignore that, or because we are part of Chippewa, if we're going to stop using Zoom. But for that, for the grades, for all those updates, just check your email. Hopefully you guys will get, sooner than later, you guys will get those updates. Brendan, welcome. I think we're heading out soon, but I'm going to post this whole meeting on Edmodo, so you can see the assignments. There's a chance for extra credit. And so make sure that you log back on to Edmodo. It takes a while for this to kind of like sync up. But also, Brendan, we just kind of went around, is there anything you're doing at home to stay sane outside of like school and just watching TV? Any hobby or anything you've been doing?
Realistically, it's basically just normally what I do during break.
All right, that's fair. Okay, is there anything else before this is about an hour, which I think is good. It's nice to see everybody. Also, Jade, Emily, and Natalia, do you guys know you're all wearing the same shirt?
Yes. No way. No.
Yeah, you guys look like you broke out of like a old-timey jail.
We planned it because this is a eventful time right now.
It is an
Thank you
eventful
for
time.
noticing.
And Jade, thank you for calling me out on my hat. Yes, my hair is ridiculous. I don't know what the plan is. I think I'm gonna learn I'm either gonna go with the Bohannon cut and just shave it, or I'm gonna try to watch a YouTube video and learn how to cut my own hair.
You should do a man bun. You should go out to be a man bun with me.
Y'all can
Man
twin.
All right, I'll go for it. I think it's gonna be, right now my man bun can like go on top, like how Elliot's ponytail
That's fine, man.
is, but
I
yeah,
can
I
go
think it's
like-
gonna be a while on that.
I can go like here. It's been like 5 months since I cut my hair, and it's only that long.
Yeah, well, you're a lot closer than I am. Okay, I think that's it, guys. Abby, is there any? You said you didn't realize you wanted to respond. Is Abby gone?
No.
No, she's here. Is there anything else besides gardening?
Yes, sorry.
okay.
I've been playing piano and also drawing.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think it's like the fact that you're able to keep yourself sane during this time. Like believe it or not, I think it might be like a skill that comes in later in life where like your generation, that group that finished off high school and as a teenager was able to keep yourself busy and not going crazy for over a month. Even though it's not fun, it's not enjoyable, I think it's fairly valuable that you're able to do this. Again, even though that the reason for it is not a good reason, if that makes sense. Okay, well, that's it for today, guys. Remember, the assignment, optional, of course, but I think it could be a fun one. Letter to yourself, mail to me. And then also Wednesday's assignment, Cowspiracy, available on Netflix. Okay, well, that's it, guys. Stay safe. Have a good week, and we'll check back in on Monday. I'll post this and the extra credit assignment onto Edmodo. Bye.
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 Bye.